What's up, everybody? This is OJ99, and today I'm playing a little Space Engineers. I am, of course, late to the party, as ever. But this is first you can it's a survival type game in space, similar to Minecraft. I have built the vast majority of what you're going to see over here. I did move some of the stuff that already existed, like the medical chamber, which you see here. Basic gist is in the bottom left, you'll see my health, energy, and then oxygen. Further down, those are what really matter the most. Lose all of those, and well, it's over. As you can see on the right, I'm in a gravity field. The circle is representing me. The arrow points down because that's down. If I have a jetpack on and I'm going the other way, you'll see this way. Yeah, it's flat. Now this room is oxygenated, so I can take my helmet off. Needless to say, you take damage if you have your helmet off in a non-pressurized environment, as opposed to, spontaneous explosive decompression. That would suck, but it would be brief. So, oxygen is obviously one of the key things you need to survive. How do you get oxygen? Well, there's a couple ways. Obviously, you can build a room with a oxygen generator, like this one, connected to an oxygen tank, like this one, that's got a conveyor connection to an air vent, like this one. But that's a little beyond the league of most people starting out, so you have oxygen bottles. In any scenario you start in, you'll typically have a few of these, and you'll have an oxygen generator with ice in it. Needless to say, you just take the bottles out, drop them in your inventory. When your oxygen gets too low, you'll take a hit off this, it will go down. Obviously when it goes to zero, it doesn't work anymore. At that point you shove it back into the oxygen generator, and if your generator has ice and is configured by default, it should refill your oxygen tanks, in theory. Keep in mind, it does limit your inventory. I have it set to 4,000, which is the largest personal inventory you can have when you start a scenario. And these oxygen bottles are 160 liters each. The base inventory is only 400 liters. So you're not going to be able to carry around much if you're carrying around oxygen tanks. Unless you have it set to 10x, like I do. Now, you notice that there's numerous inventories. That's because this base is, well, much larger than this room. We'll get to that in a minute. As you can see, there's a conveyor system. If it's connected to various things, you can link inventories together, and you'll have a little bit of automation when you are working with things. Now I connected the medical bay to the oxygen generator via the conveyor system, so that when I press T on this little console here, I regenerate both energy and oxygen. Energy is basically energy for your suit. If it gets too low, you'll have your life support systems will fail and you'll start dying. Needless to say, you want to avoid that. Best way to do that is to obviously run up to the medical dispenser, as long as you've got something with power. And you can sit in a ship, a powered ship will also generate your energy. Now I'm walking into my airlock here, so notice the oxygen goes to none. The hangar is not oxygen, there's no oxygen generators here, so this is open, and this is open to the void of space. Because there are connectors above these. Above that, it's not a complete seal. The refinery is much taller than it looks. Now here we have a gravity generator. This is what creates the gravity field that keeps me on the ground. We have 2 nuclear reactors. These run off uranium, and they're responsible for powering everything that they're in contact with on blocks. There's no wiring in this game, thankfully. You can see I made a huge cargo container. This cargo container has 1.25 million liters of space. So yeah, that's going to be good for a while. And we have a tower structure here. First on the top here is the refinery. Any ore you mine via drilling goes into the refinery here, where it is converted into ingots. Those ingots can then be fed into the assembler, which, as you can see, I've already got a good smattering of material already sitting in. And from there, we can assemble the subcomponents here in the production tab that we need to build any block. Of course, I have built interior lights, and this oddball looking contraption is my drilling ship. When you start out, which I'll demonstrate, you'll have to drill with a hand drill, and it ain't fun. But it's just something to get you started so you can build a drilling ship. Now the scenario I started in, I had the base, I had most of this floor. As you can see, there's a color differential. The gunmetal gray is what was here when I started. The white is what I built. Now, of course, I roofed over the whole thing and built the doors. The refinery and the assembly were here, but the cargo container wasn't. We have the hangar doors. I'm a learn by doing kind of guy, so it made me very happy when I learned how to open these doors. As you can see, the Lone Survivor, that's the name of the scenario I'm playing. Now this off here to the side is my builder's ship. It's currently got a welder attached. And then there's a cargo container, a conveyor, and a connector. What this allows me to do is at the top of this assembler stack, there's a connection bay that I can dock with, and I can transfer goods through the conveyor system. Anything that's connected by these little hatches, as long as they're the same size, can be moved through them. And that is a very nice thing to have, because all these big walls, the vertical walls and the roof were built in that. After I laid the blocks by hand with a jetpack, came by with the welding ship and just welded them up. Now I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate mining here. When you first spawn into the game, you won't have your character tools in your hotbar, so you want to click and drag. Okay. First item you have is called the welder. This allows you to weld and build individual blocks once you've established a frame. Take a quick example here and show you a little production too. Go to production, assembling, because this actually can recycle these little subcomponents as well as build them. Go ahead and take that in inventory. Demonstrate with a basic block. This is a light armor block, same as all the other blocks that make up this base. Just walk up. You can use insert, delete, home, page up, page down to vary the orientation of the block. Of course, for an armor block, it doesn't really matter. Click the fire key, and that drops the frame, which spins 1 unit, as you can see, of steel plates. It takes a total of 25 to build this block. So you just weld until it appears. And then to use the grinder, it disappears. Pretty straightforward stuff. Now if you have a lot of components that you don't use, you can throw them into the base, not this inventory, as you can see, that's for ingots, into the bottom bay, the hopper, disassemble all. Now this is at maximum speed that this production is working at, so don't be surprised you think I'm hacking if it goes slower for you. Now, the third tool is the hand drill. And to demonstrate this, we're going to go outside. There's the exterior of my cargo container and the rest of the refinery. There's my beacon, which shows the location of the base, and then you can see all my little blue bookmarks everywhere. This is my docking connector. I can connect mining ship to this and deliver non-ice based ores, and I can also pick up subcomponents I build with the assembler in the building ship. One thing I'm going to go ahead and do, now there's gravity on this asteroid for some of it because of the residuals from the gravity field at the base. So I'm going to go down here. As you can see, this is just stone. I'm going to come down here to this iron And when you have your drill out, or if you're in a drilling ship with an ore detector, you'll see these little pop-ups saying what items are nearby. There's some gold down that way. But I got some iron here. Left trigger, and then knock things off. It's much easier to do when you're in the influence of a gravity field, because as you can see, the rocks just fall down. You just walk up to them and just hold T and wiggle your cursor. I did pick up some stone, which is almost completely useless. Now here, as you can see, like I said, it's close to the base. This is easy mining. This is not tough at all. Let's go around the other side of the asteroid. As you can see, no gravity. There's no gravity on this side of the asteroid. Now most of the asteroid here is stone. Here's a little spot I dug out earlier. It's best if you're going to mine 0G to mine in a hole like this. Because when you as you can see, now this part of this asteroid does have gravity, because we're close to our gravity generator again. Here we go. If you try and mine straight off of we'll go to third person so you can see it. Hey, there goes your ore. I'm not worried about it, but you'd have to break off a couple pieces, go chase after it. Okay, now I just removed the stones from my inventory. Now, if you happen to be holding down the trigger and one of them does fly in front of you, you will grab it. But as you can see, I only grabbed 811 units of stone. These pieces that are flying off are worth 400 in their own right. So whenever you're surface mining in 0G, you just want to take a few pieces and scoop them up. Or even better, you want to dig yourself a hole. The secondary fire, the right mouse button, doesn't, you notice it doesn't kick up any scree, any floating debris when I do this. This is the mode this is basically tunneling mode. It creates a much bigger impact, does not generate Okay, now there's some discoloration here, so it looks like I'm about to hit this iron pocket. You want to be careful not to use secondary fire too much around your resources. In some scenarios, resources are going to be tight. As you can see here, I'm in a big deep hole. I do have gravity because I'm close to my base again. But as you would hammer off the pieces, and they would just start gently floating out this way, which makes them a lot easier to catch than with them going all over the place. But that's not the real fun type of mining. It's basics before you build one of these puppies. See there, I took some fall damage, which you can do. Now this is kind of my Porsche mining ship. You can see it's got 3 drills in the front. It has a conveyor system from this side here that goes all the way to the back to this large cargo can. It's got, of course, thrusters, and then it's got a conveyor and a connection port. Then, to add more, it has an oxygen tank connected to an oxygen generator, and this allows me to replenish both my energy and oxygen sitting in this mining ship, which means I don't have to come back until the hold is full or I've damaged the ship in some way and I need to limp back for repairs. So let's go ahead, and as you can see the red lights on the side there, that indicates the tank is 3/4 full of oxygen, which it's only providing oxygen for a cockpit, so it's not a big deal. All the lights are red currently because the reactor is turned off. And I should demonstrate that here momentarily. Go ahead and press T to jump into your ship. Alt to free camera. Now this, as you can see, has spotlights. The big thing right above the cockpit window is an ore detector. Of course, I've got thrusters, front, back, left, right, up, down. There's also a little antenna right there. Press Y to activate your reactor. You can see the little beacon pops up, says ERS TAC-1 antenna. That's the location antenna. It's an antenna broadcast so that you can always find your mining ship in case you lose it. I recommend it if you don't have a enclosed hangar bay to store your ship in, because you never know when they're going to fly away. On the side you'll see it says spotlights off. Power usage is only 2%, which is not bad considering I'm just sitting still. Reactors is 300 kilowatts. They have 3 reactors on this puppy. You need at least 1 to keep going. If you strain the reactors too much, you can overload them, which is not good. You do not want to damage your reactor. You can see fuel time, 69 days. That does vary a little bit, but as long as it doesn't say like 10 minutes, you'll be alright. Just say 10 minutes. Well, I hope you're carrying some uranium in your pocket. Gyroscopes, only 1. Bigger ships need more gyroscopes, but this ship's small enough, it only really needs 1. It says landing gears and then locked. If you look down there at the very bottom behind the tubing, you'll notice a green light. That is the indicator for my landing gear leg. And I've released landing gear. It turns yellow to indicate proximity, and is black to indicate not close enough to get a connection. So now, to back our mining ship out. Now you can see what these bookmarks are for now. This is where I go exploring for metals and such that I need. Now notice that my energy and oxygen is at 100% because I'm connected to the ship's systems, which are providing for my suit. And as I close in on these asteroids, I will eventually get ore readings from my ore detector. What have we here? You can tell, even at the distance, you can tell because of the discoloration on the asteroids. But there's something there. That looks like silicone. Nope. Now I will fly around this, show you the different kinds of silicone is pretty useful for computers. And there's some, it says there's some uranium on this asteroid. Oh yeah. A little bit. That black right there is the uranium. Just dig in here. Now we have to be careful how we maneuver here because there is an asteroid just beneath us. Uranium is life. Uranium and oxygen. So uranium and ice. You want to have healthy reserves in both of those. Because without uranium you have no power. Without ice you have no oxygen. So whenever you start a scenario, your first priority is to get your hands on some serious amounts of both. Even the platform that you start on only has about 30 minutes worth of uranium in it when you start. So the first thing you want to do is scour the asteroids that are nearby for that telltale black signature of uranium. So as you can see, we picked up a bunch of stone, some silicon, 3K of uranium, and 4K of iron. Iron is another big one it's ubiquitous, it's all over the place, but it is very, very necessary. It's nice here, so. See, we've got. Now notice the ice jumped to my oxygen generator. That was the conveyor system at work. As you can see, I had 8,000 units of ice a moment ago. But because the inventory is lower in the ship, it's automatically drawing ice from the conveyor system into the generator. ship is bold enough, you can actually drive straight through and through an asteroid. But this is a relatively new design, for me at least, so I haven't tested that out yet. But I haven't had any trouble finding good surface deposits, so I haven't been too worried about pursuing it. Maybe I'll go find the small one later. Let's go to our... As you can see now we have 20,000 in the generator. So picked up 12,000 bits of ice. Notice I stopped short. I have more thrusting power than I do stopping power. Because I'm a mining ship, I want to go forward. I do have inertia in this game. I just use the free camera. So squared away. Here, as you can see, I'm getting close. Notice that the little X, you can see it pulls me up. It's a magnetic clamp. Hit P as if it is landing gear to lock yourself in place. Now you can just grab your silicon ore. Let's go to the gold, that's the station's inventory. You can drop directly into the refinery. You don't have to lug this crap out by hand, which is nice. Drag this down to the refinery and it will dutifully churn away. Like that. Press P again to unlock. Little to break the magnetic field. Back up. Spin this puppy around, land it properly. I don't want to go too far. Pardon me, I don't want to go too far to the right, so I don't cut off my cutting ship, my welding ship from being able to get out. Go down, see it clean there. Okay. You can also turn the power on. As you can see, that turns off here. Turns off everything. If you were in a free-floating area and your landing gear were not secure, if you didn't have any power running to your ship, it will float away, even if it's in the influence of a gravity field. Close our hangar door. Okay, now you can also use the connector like an inventory. Now you notice I didn't pull the stone out because, well, I have tons of stone already. And my personal inventory has iron in it. For some strange reason. Go become iron. Go become steel. Fulfill your destiny. I'm going to, however, grab... Yeah. Oh. Duh. The conveyor system doesn't work if your shift is off. So yeah, don't be like Urziel and turn your keys off and wonder why your engine isn't running. Derp. I'm just grabbing a handful. Door. Now I've set, obviously the door panel here closes the door, but I've configured this button panel to open that door, close this one. As you can see, I got knocked back and activated the jetpack because the air from this room blew in to fill the airlock. I lose a little bit of air each time I change through, but it's less than it would be if I didn't have that airlock in place. So now I'm going to go ahead and slump this ice into this ice generator. What I need to do when I get up the gumption is move the refinery. Well, the problem is I would like to move the refinery and the assembly into this room, but if I do that, I won't be able to connect to it through the connection outside because that is not airtight. I tried to do a similar scheme with this oxygen tank where I would just build another connection and I would conveyor in. However, those connections were not airtight. I didn't have a good seal and I couldn't ventilate this room. So I just have to settle for doing it by hand, and I took a little bit of damage there from air displacement. But overall, it's a pretty fun game. It's just a matter of pushing. So you press T and get your health back. Also, if you own a medical station, if you die a grisly, horrible death, this is where you will respawn. Allow me to demonstrate. As you can see, there's no oxygen here. This room is not sealed because of all that. I can't, it's not sealed off in space. So, as you can see, I'm taking damage. I'm generating a little bit, but not much.
Your health is low.
Yep, I know.
Health critical.
And I just asphyxiated. As you can see, medical room. Respawn. Oh, look. What do I have, a beard or what? I hope that doesn't itch. When I get a bearded itches, I'd want to tear my face off if I had a beard and mustache like that. As you can see, there's my body and my tools. I just disassembled my own tools. Guess it'll just despawn eventually. But that's so far as I've gotten in Space Engineers in a nutshell. It's pretty fun. I'm learning as I'm doing. I'm in survival, not creative. I do like a little bit of a challenge. Creative is, as you might imagine, like Minecraft's creative mode. You have infinite health and infinite energy and infinite oxygen, and you just crap stuff out all over the place because you can. It's not as fun. But that'll do it for this episode. I'm Mercy99, and I'll see you next time.